Fantastic. Hey, Coach. I'm Rob St. Clair from Volleyball Source. This is John Speraw, obviously. It's great to see you.
Good to be here.
Saw you, like a month ago?
Yeah.
You won yet another national championship for UCLA, so congratulations, first of all. Between then and now, your calendar was something like win a national championship on Saturday, take, 2 whole days off?
Well, no, I had a family wedding on Sunday, so I was all doing family stuff, which is great. And then off on Monday, and then Tuesday back at it.
And then how many days later was the Olympic roster for your team publicly announced? Like less than a week?
4 days later. Yeah, so
what a week.
It was a busy week. And that weekend we had off too, and I remember thinking, gosh, I really needed to shut it down that weekend. And it was great, I think, to be able to be in a position to name the team early. I think there's advantages to that. Sometimes you're trying to figure some final roster spots, or you got guys that are injured. I mean, there's different scenarios for every team. For ours, it was pretty clear what we were going to do after some conversations. I came back, and we started having conversations on that Tuesday, and it became clear that we had a really good idea what we wanted to do, and we slept on it and made a decision Wednesday, got all the ducks in a row that we needed to for a Wednesday announcement, and then that just clears everything up. Everybody can then begin to define their roles and understand where we're at, takes a little bit of that pressure off and focus on the end result.
Good. That's exactly kind of how we were reacting to it when it was announced. The clarity of roles that it creates, I think, is insanely important for the whole summer, but also like at the Olympic Games specifically. So what then are you going to use this week now that you have the guys together in a competitive setting for the first time? What more are you going to try to make clear with what you learned from a couple really good opponents this week in Ottawa?
Right. Well, that's a good question. I think it's a lot about getting out on the court with this group for the first time. We didn't go to Turkey last week.
Right.
I felt like with a more mature group and the travel schedule that we have is really brutal. And in an Olympic year, we were really hesitant to go to Turkey, come home, go to Ottawa, go home, go to the Philippines, direct from the Philippines to hopefully Poland if you're playing well. That was a bit much. So really pleased with our young guys to go to Turkey and get that experience and get a win. So now it's about us getting out on the court. And, we're going to be a little rusty probably compared to some of these teams that played last week. But I think it's an opportunity for us to get better, get some great competition like you mentioned. It's a great week. And also start working on what are those roles within this team. Who's starting, who's coming off, under what conditions, who's going to be a potential serving sub, what are your moves, and defining those and flushing those out.
You and I talked earlier about the little bit of a change in the schedule for the Olympics this year, given that there are now at least 1 day off, sometimes 2, in between Olympic Games. So that, I think, creates even more of clarity for you, like you said, about helping make a couple of your decisions a little bit easier. Then is it safe to assume that once you have a starting 7 figured out, the roles of those remaining 5 guys just going to be very, very specific, like Olympic use cases? And how much of that are we maybe going to see this week versus just kind of getting guys more starting level minutes, I guess?
The issue, I think, yes, you're trying to figure out what your Olympic plan is. There's no question. But you're also trying to win these matches, and when you have 4 matches in 5 days, then you're going to be making some different decisions than maybe you would in the Olympics, and you have to be transparent about that. This is going to be different than the Olympic Games. Much different schedule. So how do we handle the volume? How do we make decisions about starting lineups on particular days? Those are all going to be independent decisions from eventual Olympic decisions.
So in order, if I remember correctly, Argentina, Italy, Serbia, Canada.
Correct.
And Serbia, Canada are back-to-back?
Yeah, really
maybe
back-to-back. Because Serbia is at 8 p.m. and then the next day versus Canada at 4:30. Yeah, tight turnaround.
Yeah, and that's, I would say, at least 3 and outside chance 4 Olympic-level opponents.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, this is a tough week. So I'm excited about it. I want to be pressured. We want to be pressured. We want to make sure we're uncomfortable at times. That's what's going to make us better.
And I asked Karch Karai in Arlington last week the same question. He's in a very different situation because he hasn't named a 12 yet for Paris. But given that you have, it'll be a different context when I ask, what does a successful week this week look like for you? Whether it's results, learning, whatever it is, what to you is a successful week in Ottawa?
A successful week in Ottawa is getting wins. We do want to commit to this moment. Of course, we're making decisions, and the benefit of naming a team early is that you can start, and being qualified early, is to be able to start making some longer-term decisions about how you train, about what you're doing in the weight room. those don't always correlate with immediate performance.
Sure.
So we are making sacrifices, but we are committed 100% mentally to coming into these matches to get wins. We would like to go to the VNL finals. We risked a little bit by sending an inexperienced group to Turkey, but we're coming into these matches trying to win these matches so we can continue to improve. And I think you learn more when you invest all the way in. So we want to invest all the way in and then see what happens. And we want to be able to go to the VNL finals. I mean, we've been there pretty consistently. It's a great event.
It's in Poland again.
Poland again. I know the travel is really brutal for that, but it is. We have made a decision that is valuable for us, and we're going to commit to that.
And how, based on just like the results and the movement of world ranking, I know last year we talked about it a lot pre-qualification, how volatile it was. This year it will affect a little bit of where you're kind of drawn into certain pools. Like I think there's a big value to being within the top 5, but past that, like how much is that a focus for you, like tracking the number of points change in the world ranking this year compared to before you were qualified?
I'm not going to be tracking it right now. I was thinking about it a little bit last week, only for the getting to the finals effort. I met with the young guys before they left, and I said, hey, try to get one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mission accomplished.
And mission accomplished. And beyond that, now I'm not going to worry about it. Now this team is going to go to play. And if we play to our level of capacity, we're going to get enough wins to go to the VNL finals, I believe. If we don't, we're not there yet, then that gives us some information that we can use when we go into a longer training block. So
and maybe an extra week off, so win-win potentially?
Potentially. I really would like to play. We're going to go all in.
Yeah. That's what we like to hear because we're here and we can't wait to watch it. Yeah. So good luck against Argentina tomorrow. We'll probably talk after that, and appreciate the time, Coach.
Sounds great, Rob.
Thanks.
Okay.